Hello, my name is Kevin Darmawan, but you can call me Kevin. I majored in computer science because I like technology and programming. Yes, programming, like writing codes and algorithms. And I discovered that business has an online program with CS major. So I felt like it's the ideal place for me because I can study and advance my career at once. I also have a background in full stack development. I do have a job maintaining company websites. Not the most exciting things in the world, but it allows me to pay for my tuition. And also, it's kind of fun integrating like new services and new features into the websites. So, last weekend sessions talked about many things, but most importantly, it talks about the core materials such as self-introduction, because like this is the first session, so of course we introduce ourselves. So self-introduction is pretty straightforward. Like you say who you are and what you do in one quick line, and then you add a bit more about your skills or your relevant experience, and then you end it with like why you're there or what you want from the listener, and then a polite closing or call to action. Like keep it natural, friendly, or more police for and polite. And after self-introduction, we also talks about academic versus business English. So academic versus business English. There's this two is the most interesting thing in the session. First, the academic English is more formal, evidence-based, often involves longer sentence and a more objective tone. Meanwhile, the business English is more short, direct, action focused, and more centered towards corporate. Because it's used mostly in corporate business and like in workplace. So after that, we also talks about making generalizations. It's how to make the right generalization that's not going to offend anyone. Like if you're going to make generalizations, you often have to back broad claims with data, examples, qualifiers like often or some. Like we have to avoid absolutes like saying always or never because we don't want to offend anyone. After that, we talk about paraphrasing and giving opinions. Paraphrasing is very straightforward. You uh, remake the sentence while keeping the original meaning. Meanwhile, opinions, it state your view, like you give your reason, and signal it's subjective. For example, like I think this is blah 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 blah, or in my opinion, this thing is blah 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 blah. So you have to back it up with data after giving your opinions, because in academic settings, you cannot just like throw your opinions around without some data backing it. So next thing we talks about is cross-cultural communication. It talks about how styles differ, like direct versus indirect, small talk versus talk first. Like you have to adapt your tone, formality, and non-verbal cues to the audience. Okay, so I think that is it for the core materials that we talked about in the last session or the first session actually. And what I will do with this information, I'm not totally sure yet, but it sure is pretty interesting. I probably won't switch styles like my everyday conversation styles, but it is interesting and I will focus on learning the English business because I think I am more interested toward the business English rather than the academic. But academic is important too. And in my opinion, the business English is more important, especially at my workplace because people usually likes making PRD with English, with business English. So learning business English, I think, is kind of more important. I'll keep practicing the academic and business style English, and I'll keep in mind the tips and tricks in the sessions. So that is all for the presentation and for the assignment. So thank you for watching.